Cherokee National Park.
I can't see. 315. 318.
You need some glasses, man.
Well, I'm out wearing contacts today. Let's see. Councilman Buzzer, would you mind giving us the blessing?
Dear Heavenly Father, as we come to our meetings today, we ask that you keep your hand upon us to help the Cherokee Nation and help the people. We also ask you to keep your hand upon the sick. We also ask you to bless and keep your hand upon our troops that's here in our U.S. and those abroad to bring them home in safety. We ask for your guidance and all this in your name. Amen.
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 Thank you. Roll call, Shep.
Sir. David Walkenstick.
Honey.
Brian Warner.
Honey.
Bill England. Keith Austin.
Here.
Harley Buzzard.
Here.
Joe Bird.
Honey.
Sean Crittenden. Mike Dobbins.
Here.
Shannon Duncan.
Honey.
Wanda Hatfield. Rex Jordan.
Here.
Dave Clay.
Honey.
Mike Shambaugh.
Here.
Mary Bakershaw. Honey. Joe Smith.
Here.
Denise Taylor. Here. Victoria West. We have a forum.
Thank you, Shep. Yeah, Sean Crittenden's here too. I hear a motion to approve the minutes of March 11th, 2019.
So move.
So move.
Second.
Second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Down to reports. Let's go to Miss Diane Kelly, Talking Leaves Job Corps, Career Services, Vocational Programs.
Thank you, Mr. Chair
Strawberry Princess.
and members of the committee. Loving this nice warm weather that we're having. I just wanted to share with you this report that we handed out to you in this month's monthly report. This young lady's name is Kelsey Myrick. They never mentioned her name. It's a beautiful write-up, but they never mentioned her name. And she did get a higher paying job at Tahlequah Health Center as a result of some interference from some of our counselors. So we were real proud of her. So she did a good job. My monthly report spotlights Disability Employment Initiative, which is we're doing lunch and learn sessions. Marsha White, who was our manager for that program, she's been doing these lunch and learn sessions, and she's taking appointments for the people that want to come for those lunch and learn sessions to learn more about developmental disabilities. Talking Leaves is still full, and we will be one of 3 or 4 centers at this week's conference call out of 23 centers that is still at capacity at 100%. So we know, according to Mona, I went to lunch with her today, we're still at 100%, and we know that there's 23 centers in the region, and we're one of 3 that will be at 100%. And I did follow up Councilman Walkenstick,
Yes.
and Mr. Littlejohn tells me there is no significant incident reports. He said there are reports that you get where somebody might have had a safety pin on them, or maybe somebody throwed a ink pen at somebody or something like that, but he said that there is no significant incident reports. And on the vacancy report in academics, there's only 1 teacher. In the vocational, there's 1 in the vocational, and most of them are in residential, where we have 3 shifts. We have day, evening, and the graveyard shift. And that is primarily due to the Department of Labor changing the rules. They sent out notification back in 2016 that said 2017, by October of 2018, everybody that worked in residential would have to have a college degree with 15 hours of sociology or psychology. So we worked with HR, met with the staff, and some of them accepted other jobs. When we, along with other centers that had to get their 5-year contract, the 5-year contract stipulated that we were asking for a raise on the contract because of that. Because if you did have a degree, you were going to be required to get more money for those positions than somebody who was without a degree. And so the Department of Labor came back, and the national director sent out a notification that they were going to rescind what they had said. And so therefore, they were going to go back to the basic way, and then you could have layers in there if you chose to as a center. So some of those people left and took other jobs, whereas we are having to backfill some of the positions where they left in residential. But that was a Department of Labor snafu, not us. And we're working right now with the HR department, and we've got, I think, 3 to 5 that are in our background checks. So That's where the vacancies are sitting over
Okay.
talking leaves. It's not in academics.
Okay. Is there a, as far as the pay goes with teachers that are there, so if they have a teaching certificate, do they get state teacher pay?
Whenever the state teacher pay was initiated, there was a memorandum that went out, and the Job Corps teachers are not yearly like the high schools. They're not 9 months out of the year. They are year-round.
Okay.
And we're considered a private school. We're considered like Job Corps Academy. So we're not actually considered like a high school, and we do not get any state funding. It's all federal funding.
Okay.
And we have to go with what the federal government tells us that we pay them.
Okay.
There is going to be a bump in some of them's pay scale that will be with this new contract that we got.
So the Department of Labor, they are
Yes.
the ones that.
Yes.
Another question is the students. Do we drug test those kids or?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, they are drug tested when they come in, and then they also, if they test positive when they come in, they only get one more drug test, and that's at random. And then they can still come in, but they have to admit to taking classes, which is called TEAP counseling. We have a TEAP counselor, drug and alcohol counselor, that works
Okay.
with them.
And of course the staff as well, right?
Pardon?
The staff, the staff does drug tests as well, correct?
Yes, we are randomly drug tested over here at the Cherokee Nation.
Is that a requirement, Department of Labor, for that to happen? I
No,
assume?
it's here at Cherokee
It's
Nation.
Cherokee Nation.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for that report, Diane.
The center will sponsor Administrative Professional Day Luncheon next Thursday, April the 24th. We've been doing this for several years. It's our business classes that put this on, and we recognize those business students. Also, our adult NAVTech program is part of that. And Verna Thompson, our Head Start director, is our speaker this year. And she started out a long time ago, and she has a lot of good information she can share with these students. Our business technology program, I said, was spotlighted. And then Tom Elkins mentioned the event that they're having at Northeastern on Friday, April the 26th, which is next Friday. Taro, along with the health department, the marshal services, they're having a safety fair, which will be south of the complex over here by the awning, and it'll be from 10 to 2. And they will have hot dogs, chips, sodas, water, and they've got several schools. So if you want to come out and take part and have your picture made with Smokey Bear, well, come on out. And the BIA is going to be here with some coloring books. Lyndon Smith, Sue Hensley, and Austin Patton were featured. They are in the NORA Leadership Program. And then many of the people in my department are in Durant this week at the National Employment Training Conference. Stephanie and Deborah will be helping with Leadership Tahlequah this week. And I've got 2 new staff that I want to introduce. I think some of you all may know them. I've got Vanessa Hanson. Vanessa worked as a bookkeeper and finance person for the Housing Authority, and she also worked for the Katuas, and she is going to be working in our department with our federal grants, and she's going to be working under Deborah Lack. We were very pleased to get Vanessa. She's got a lot of federal program background experience. And the other person is Johnny Deaton, and he will be replacing Matt Lamont, who is the manager of reentry. And Johnny is going to be working in our reentry program, and he'll be based here in Tahlequah. But with reentry, they work all over the 14 counties. So I wanted to introduce him. There he is.
You got
Johnny
2 good
Deaton.
ones there.
Oh, well, I'm glad. I'm glad you know him.
I don't recognize. Did he used to wear a football helmet? Was that the guy?
See you, Mike Champoff.
All right, checking. Good to
Most of
see you.
the-
Good to have
See
you.
you as well, thank you.
Most of these guys know you all fairly well, but I just wanted to introduce them. And Friday is Good Friday, and it's a holiday for most people. Easter is Sunday, and on behalf of our department, we want to wish everybody a happy Easter. And we hope that you enjoyed the mugs that Jay Littlejohn and Ramona Holt sent over. They've got their business cards in that cup. If you have any questions about talking leaves, Jay said, I'm always open. You can call me. Ramona's there as the backup. You can call Ramona. And she said, I take calls at night too. So anytime you have a question, give them a call. And that's why their business cards are in there in the cup. And I have another appointment, and Deborah's going to stay in here unless you have any questions of me.
Let's go on.
Yes, Councilman Smith.
I just want to thank you for taking your time to come to Southall the other day and upgraded the camp, made it look a lot better. Thank you.
Thank you, EO. I enjoyed it.
Good. Good.
All right, next, Executive Director's Report, Mr. Ron Etheridge.
Good afternoon. I just have one thing that I need to share with you, and then any questions you have for us, we'll be happy to answer. Barbara McAllister, tomorrow will be the recipient of the Governor's Award at the 43rd Annual Governor's Arts Award. Last year, Mary Kay represented the choir, Cherokee Choir, and received an award, and this year Barbara is. And the Joe Rowan, also receiving an arts award. They have something in common because two of Barbara's students are going to school right now at OCU and being taught by Joe Rowan, who is teaching theatrical music and things. And so they have never met one another, and so this will be an occasion for her. And Speaker, you asked if she could come tonight, and she expressed her gratitude and thanks for the offer, and she would like to do it if you postpone it a month, because she's got 7 students that she thinks are all going to state in music that she's training right now. So
That's fair enough. I talked to Shelley that does our agenda, and I thought it might be better wait till she gets the Governor's Award and give her some time.
Right.
And maybe she can invite some family. We will do that next month.
okay, that's great. But no, she does an outstanding job in what she does and trains, once again, 2 of these students. Dr. Morton's granddaughter, or Nason's daughter, I guess, is one that's there at OCU, and then of course went to Sequoia here, and then the young man Austin Jones went to Telephone. So we have lots of talent, and she really takes that talent and works with it and prepares it for the next level, and so we're proud of that.
She's worldly. She really has reached a lot of students. Quite often the council here is asked to sing happy birthday to many of our constituents, and I would recommend that maybe some of the council may go up there and go under Barbara McAllister for a lesson or two, because all of our notes haven't been in harmony. Okay?
Wouldn't help.
Thank you.
Wait,
Yes, Councilwoman Shaw.
I would just like to add with what Mr. Etheridge has said. I am on the Emeritus Board of Tulsa Opera. What Miss McAllister has done on the stages of the greatest opera stages in the world is legendary, and she has represented the Cherokee people internationally. It's phenomenal, and I just want to share that. And in her efforts in sharing her talents operatically, she has taught not just Cherokee students, but countless students internationally. It's amazing what she's done internationally as well. So I've got to pass it on.
Thank you for that.
You have our report, and I'll be happy to answer any. Well, we're busy. I can assure you, we're very busy. I mean, springtime, everything. I mean that we have under the education umbrella's got something going. So, but I'll be happy to share with Jennifer here if I don't have the answer, or if she wants to speak anyway.
Hey, Ron, we need to visit with you after this as well. Camp Cherokee. So what's the details on that? Is that coming up here pretty quick?
The applications are open till we're full. The first camps will be the week of Memorial Day, and then every other week after that, I believe, for 4 weeks. And then we'll have residential camp in July. So
Okay.
camp.cherokee.org is where the applications are.
All right.
We have one new one this year, Stillwell. Stillwell High School's hosting that.
Okay.
And it's in addition to what we've had in
Okay.
years past.
Is there another camp? Is there an arts camp that's going on?
Yes, there will be an arts camp, and it's still in the working stage, but yes, we're projected to have one. It will be held up here at Sequoia, and it will be separate from the other camp that they've been together in the past, but we have a lot of interest there and some outstanding instruction.
Sure.
And so, we're looking forward to having that. This will be the first year of the arts camp, and like I said, everything will go online here very shortly. It's a matter of admin and us communicating and working out all details, and then it will either go online or possibly hard copy applications. We can only take about 50 students.
Okay.
Some of our people in the past that have gone on are coming back to help in this area.
Great. What's the deadline for the higher ed scholarships?
June 15th.
June 15th.
Yes.
Everybody got that? June 15th.
June 15th at 11:59 p.m.
Okay. And then
Central Time.
when do you guys anticipate the valedictorian and salutatorian awards to come out?
We're working through the applications, and so also we've got staff working to confirm those ceremonies. And then once we get all that lined out, then we'll get everybody their dates and their certificates.
Okay, great. Does the council have any questions, Ron? Yes.
What was that
Councilman
Cherokee
Smith.
camp again? What was it?
Camp
Cherokee.org.
Are you guys having something up in Eels District?
Yeah.
I can resend the list out in the flyer. That way everybody knows
Okay,
where our current camps are.
all right. But maybe you
And
guys.
one more note, just so you, she's received, Friday was the deadline for those STEM applications, and we have 24 that are in pursuit. I guess you said 24, 23, 24. They're in pursuit of that, and a $20,000 grant that you guys, with the allocation that you give us for the MVT. So some of that's going there.
Hey, Ron. I was visiting with some schools, and they were talking about some language programs. Would it be possible if the GOM program could maybe open or create some positions of a language teacher that maybe is a graduate of a master apprenticeship program, and maybe have 4 or 5 schools share one of those teachers, but maybe we got a 50% agreement and the other 5 schools chip in on the other 50% of the salary. Is that something that has someone thought about or
Oh, most definitely. We're already doing it Sliner and Pryor right now.
Are you? Good.
It's
What's the agreement? What's the agreement? Is the school paying part of it and the tribe's paying the other half, or what's the?
That's right, and
Okay.
I think we paid in the neighborhood. I was getting ready to ask you that too today, because I got to talk around 25,000 is what we paid in the neighborhood of 25,000
Okay.
toward that. But no, we're encouraging that. We have our meetings right now with the respective schools. We've already had 5, and we let them know that what's happening in Pryor and Salina, and how they're sharing a teacher, and how we're trying to assist them in funding, so, and we have assisted them. So they've contacted us today wanting to know if we'll continue with that, and that, once again, is something that we have to talk about when I get an opportunity to speak with admin.
Okay. Well, that's a great program. Appreciate you guys starting that up. So, any other questions? Good report, guys.
Okay.
All right. Enjoy the 76-degree day. Next, we got Vernon's not here. Sequoia High School, Mr. Leroy Qualls. Hey, Ron, if you would say stick around, I want to visit with you afterwards. Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. In the world of academics, we've had 4 kids accepted to the College Horizons program this summer. I don't know if you got that on that report that I turned in earlier. I continuously turn in reports and revise those. I send a report to different entities, but these kids done a good job. Liam McAlpin, Jacob Rogers, Kanan Henry, and Riley Zeese. Also have 4 graduating seniors that's earned the distinction of academic scholar for the state of Oklahoma, and that requires scoring a 27 or higher on ACT. Jolie Morgan, Jacob Christie, Savannah Francis, and Emerald Goin Snake. And I want to apologize for last month. I said there wasn't a Gates Scholar. There is a Gates Scholar because Emerald is a finalist, and she should know by this Saturday or Sunday if she gets it. They've changed their requirements somewhat, and there's 3 phases that the kids have to go through, and it sounds like it's a little bit tougher than it used to be to get one now, but we're proud of Emerald, and she's the one I mentioned that's been accepted to Harvard and Dartmouth, also Stanford. And Jolie's been accepted to Dartmouth and Yale. We've got a girl named Hannah Jimenez that's been accepted to Columbia and Brown. So these kids are really knocking it out of the park academically and doing a great job. Sequoia hosted ACT last Saturday. We try to do that about every quarter. It's good for our kids. Also, if the neighboring schools can come. This past week, Miss Nelson took a group of juniors to OU Shadow Day. She tries to do that every year. That's a good event to take our kids to get some exposure on a big campus. Softball, girls currently ranked number 9 in 16 and 11. Next home game is tomorrow against Muskogee. District tournament will be Wednesday. They play at 11:10 and 12:20. In powerlifting, pretty neat. We had a young lady that's a junior. She won state last year and she won it again this year in the 168 division. I think her total lift was like 675 pounds. She's an outstanding young lady. She'll be back with us again next year. And this year we had a boy that placed as state runner-up in the 198-pound division, Ethan Wynn, a senior. Seems like time flies with these kids. I can't believe he's a senior already. If you could see him as a freshman and now telling you that he's state runner-up in powerlifting, you'd be amazed. I'm amazed by what he's done. And track, they've been knocking it out of the park also. We've got a lot of kids that do a fantastic job in all the different events. The boys finished second at Pryor last Friday. The girls finished 4th, and that included a few 5A teams and 4A teams in that. Their regionals is April 27th. State meets May 3rd and 4th. I want to mention band because they made it state for the first time in school history, 146 years. Mr. Morris, this will be his last year as a full-time band instructor. But he will be back with us next year, half a day, and keeping our band program going. And he, if you knew, I think I mentioned a year or 2 ago that he started with 8 kids the first year, and his kids are knocking it out of the park. And in the state, they received an excellent rating for concert performance. So they made it, and they also did a good job while they were there. They're leaving today. Well, they've left. They were leaving at 2:30 today to head for OSU and compete in solo and ensemble state, which is tomorrow and Wednesday. But we're proud of what he's done with that program. Robotics, we had 8 students, which was 2 teams that competed in the nationals in Iowa. And that was a couple of weeks back, but I thought I would mention that. Did a great job there. Speech and debate, they made state. Chance Chambers and Katie Hallam won the dramatic duet regional championship, and they finished as state runners-up. So a fantastic job on their part. We have some signings coming up. Already had one. Talisa Murdoch signed to play basketball at Tabor College, and Jonia has already signed to play at NSU. Jonia Walker. Jonia also made All-State Oklahoma Girls Basketball Coaches Association game. That'll be held June the 1st. And believe it or not, I cut this down a little bit, but we've got a lot of kids and a lot of hardworking teachers doing a great job at our place. And a couple of things I wanted to mention to you. Mr. Etheridge tried to get me to mention one a year or two ago, and I didn't want to jinx anything, so I'm going to tell you that here in just a minute. But at our last board meeting, we recognized our board president, who had worked at the school, also worked there as a superintendent, and is still the president of our board, and he turned 93 last month, I believe. And great heart. He's a true Sequoia Indian, if you would, and he cares a lot about what's going on with that school and the campus. But we honored him after the last board meeting, Mr. Amon Baker. Proud of what he's done, and he's contributed a lot, and he continues to contribute a lot to our school. This last story that I mentioned, we had I was a mentor at Tahlequah for years for a lot of our Indian kids. We had, somewhere in the 1,500 range, year in, year out. I'm talking elementary all the way to high school. Try to keep kids in school, try to keep their grades up, just try to coach them through it, if you would. And after I left and come here, I got a call from one of my former workers. Told me about this young lady that really needed a place to be. And she was a freshman. She's already FAing, if you can believe that. This conversation took place in October of that year. She missed too many absences, missed school too much to be able to pass. That wasn't the whole story, though. I called and asked her a little bit. I had never taken a kid in midstream before, and this is the only one we've ever taken in midstream. She was on an IEP. The kids were asked to share their goals in one particular class, and her main goal was to graduate from high school. You can imagine some of the other goals were very lofty, and hers was to graduate from high school. Well, I'd never met this young lady, but from what I understand, she had a very challenging home environment. A couple of family members that had monitors on their ankles. One had just been recently released from prison. But a lot of siblings in the household. And she was asked why she missed so much school. She couldn't sleep because there was activity going on all times of the night. Well, we took her. She couldn't jump probably 5 inches off the floor. She probably couldn't hit a softball. She probably couldn't shoot and make free throws. She probably couldn't high jump or outrun anyone. She came to us and she lived in a dorm. Long story short, she held 2 jobs her last 2 years of high school. Part-time jobs. Became a very responsible person. I think she was. She just didn't have the chance to show it. And the thing I remember about her so much is not only getting a hug in the hallway, but a big, pretty smile. Positive attitude. She graduated last December. I didn't want to tell that story until she actually did, because she's come through a lot. I think that's what education is all about, for her to have a chance, and that's all she wanted was a chance. I tell you all these success stories about a lot of our kids. This is one of someone that just graduated, and a champion student also. That makes me proud. Mr. Etheridge wanted me to tell that, and I didn't dare want to do it until she actually finished. Anything to go wrong. But proud of all our kids, but especially that one there.
Hey, Mr. Qualls, when's graduation?
17th of May,
17th of May. What time?
6 o'clock.
6:30.
6:30?
I need a question.
Okay, go ahead, Speaker Bird.
Would you price a charter bus and see what the best deal that we could get?
Let's see how much what?
A charter bus would be, like ones that Sequoia has, something similar to that. We're always needing one for the veterans, the youth choir, council. I mean, just one where we could have access to if somebody needed it, some of our constituents. And not have to always go through a whole lot of red tape to get one. Because as much as we travel as a tribe, it seemed like we would have access to something like that. You know, Harley and I talked about, you know, the council going through Echota and going to the tri-council, but you know, there's so much red tape to even get a bus like that. So if you would do one and price it, and we'll see if the council can't come up with the cost, and because we need one here in the tribe.
That's a great idea, but ours are actually pretty much school activity buses. They look really nice, and they are good. If you're talking about something like a Greyhound bus, that's going to be another step up. So I can get both if you'd like.
Yes, both. We may want to take that step up,
Okay,
or we can always come down.
I'll be happy to
Thank you,
get there.
Any other questions, Mr. Qualls? I was talking, visiting with Amanda Ray. I guess she received an award, maybe one. There's like 25 of them in New York for some type of theater.
Right.
You have any information on that or no? As far as with Miss Ray?
We received the request, and we were going to do it like we did. We had another teacher that went last year to an event similar to that.
Okay.
And, you know, there were certain things the teacher had to pay for themselves, and there's certain things the school paid for.
Okay.
I think offered her about the same thing.
All right. Well, good report, Mr. Qualls. We'd like to visit with you as well after the meeting. Okay. Good report.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. All right, next, down to Cherokee Nation Foundation, we got Miss Janice Randall.
Good afternoon. As you can see on our report, we've added a new ACT. We do the 2-hour classes for 6 weeks after school. We do the camp that is open right now and closes next week, so it's online, but if you'd like a flyer, I have them here, where the kids come and live in the dorm and have the whole college experience, and that's open to everyone in the United States, and everything's paid for except getting here. And so, but like the one we had at Sallisaw, it says 61 students, but those are not 61 Sallisaw students. They drive from everywhere. We had a couple that drove from Tulsa because they had missed one. Some of them are athletes, some of them have dance or different things after school. And so when one of these come up, they just take whatever they can to get to take the class. The one we added is at the bottom of the page, was a 1 day, and it is very intense. We did it twice. This year, the lady flew from North Carolina and came and spent from 8:30 in the morning to 3:30 in the afternoon and crammed the whole 6-week class into that day. We gave them actually about 10-minute bathroom break in the morning, 10 in the afternoon, and a 30-minute lunch. And then they took the test the following Saturday. And so, and then we also do where we have a person, and she's Cherokee also, Shelley Harris. She goes into the high schools that request it, and that's these schools right here. You can see all the ones we haven't had to tell anyone no. And when she goes in, she goes and does however many juniors and seniors they have, and that can be from 60 to 300 at a time. And then we do 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade junior achievement on the second page. And you can see that we were serving about 5,716 students this year. And that includes the BizTown that most of you are familiar with. But the goal of that is to let them learn that they can prepare for college, even though their parents may not have any money, they don't know. We talk to them about scholarships, but we also talk to them about learning about money and how they can prepare. The testing strategies is we have a 5th through 8th grade program, and that is right before achievement test, and we go in and we do a 1 day, kind of the same thing as ACT, but it's for the Oklahoma state testing. And we want them to, especially, their math and reading scores, so they can be college bound. That's our whole goal. And on the last pages, we have the scholarships. And then on the very back page, we have the scholarships again, and you can see what district they're from. We try to do counties. The Cherokee Scholars Program that I passed out is a program that they sign up for in 9th grade. This is our biggest graduating group. And what that means is they have worked starting in 9th grade and took all the classes that would make them eligible to attend the college of their choice. They made a 3-point or 3.5, whatever it is. They sent their grades in every semester so that we could see they're on track. And if they fell off track, they had to drop out of the program, because those of you that have the packages see the red sash in there and it says Cherokee Scholars. That means they're entitled to $1,000 a semester for 8 semesters. And that's besides the money they can get from college resources or any outside. And so hopefully you guys will go present those sashes. I don't know if Mary's going to make it to North Carolina, but but the others of you, this is really, they worked hard for it. And so the problem, we did have a problem this year. We had about 800 applications for scholarships, and we have about 20 scholarships, and those are all that have been given by individuals. And so it's not everyone gets it like college resources. And I think that parents are really thinking once their child signs up for this, they're going to receive it. And Marissa, the girl in my office, is so kind to people when they call. And she has been chewed out in the last month because parents call and they say, my child has a 4.3 and they should have gotten that scholarship. Well, they don't realize that we had 800 applications and there's one scholarship for that. So I hope if you guys get calls, you can tell them that, we have them read by 2 different individuals. We add the scores together and then we rank them, and we have a first place and a second place. So if the first place declines it, which TU just accepted, it's Tori Wood from Claremore Sequoia, and Mike always helps with some of those scholarship readings. And then if for some reason that person doesn't take it, we go on down the list. And on the at-large, we go down till we have a big break. Like if they're real close and then there's a big gap, that's how we decide. But everybody, I mean, we do not have 800 scholarships, so everybody's not going to get a scholarship. So, and then our July camp, we have more and more universities calling and wanting to come, and that is just so our Cherokee students can see all the universities. If they'd like to go somewhere out of state, what can they offer Cherokee students? And last year, Duke University offered 3 full rides to some outstanding people he met here. And the year before, I think it was the University of Illinois. So that's my report.
Yes, Councilman Duncan?
Hey, Ms. Randall. I just had a question on the junior achievement and the testing strategies. I was looking over the report, and so on the junior achievement, there's only 2 Adair County schools and then none on the testing
Right.
strategies. Is there any way that we can help or anything we can do to get
Well,
more-
Jerry Gilstrap also helps me read, and I've tried to get her to do some of that, and they did have an Upward Bound grant, and so she said they couldn't do it while they had that. But I understood that it may be running out or ran out this year, and so we would,
Because we have, I think, about 8 schools. Is that right, Sean? Yeah. And
I've tried to get Sean to bring his school, but he said, like, by the time they drive to Tulsa to Biztown, it's so far. They have to leave so early, get back. But we are willing, yes,
what
so,
about the testing strategies?
yes. Yes, then that's, like I said, I haven't had to tell anyone no. I mean, we have the money and we've had a lot of grants to do those. And so if you talk to your schools and they want to do it, then we'll work with them.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Vasquez?
Yes, on the first page, Janice, the testing with success to our workshops, school served. I noticed Benita was not on there. Is it because they have to ask to be included?
And, yeah, and we went up there and, Benita, no, it's Jay. We've changed superintendents a couple of times. But we didn't get a response. We have offered, I think it was last year. I told you,
About this last year?
yeah, yeah.
But that was,
But yes, we are willing to, and so if you want us to make contact again, we will see if they're interested. We are we're in 40 schools above 412, and like the others in your district do participate and they're thrilled, but the bigger schools, sometimes they're just so busy and they say they just don't have time to work it into their schedule.
might be, okay, thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Councilman Warner?
Thank you, Mr. Sheriff. I was going to say too, Janice, that we look at these 6-week courses and the workshops and stuff. What we did with the grant down in Sequoia County, we've got that technology at all the schools, all 12 schools. And then I know that NSU has Zoom capabilities, RSU does Zoom, Carl Albert's doing Zoom, and with that Zoom, we may could pilot something, and wherever that school is at, if you do it at Carl Albert or NSU or wherever, then you could Zoom it out to all these different locations and make it available. And then I know our software agreement, we can hold up to 100 individuals. Let's say they're on an iPad or they're on a laptop, they could sit at home. And then all of those, they come up like the Brady Bunch squares, and you see that student and they can come in and they can chat. It may be a way to, you got one central location, you probably want that individual to have students in front of them because it's easier to teach to an audience, but then you also can have this stuff zoomed out with a big partnership across the 14 counties, because I know there's a lot of that capability of doing that. As long as they can get on a computer, punch a link, and they've got it set up, it's just an idea. Anyway.
Yeah, that'd be a great idea, especially with our ACT, because so many kids can't come right after school.
Well, you guys talking about those kids coming from Tulsa or whatever, well, you can have 100 of them sign up and say, hey, I'm going to be here at my computer, and they can do that. And then you can also set up little pockets, let's say, because I know we've sent technology into rural schools and everywhere let's take Gore or Bellefonte or anywhere like that, if they may have 4 or 5 students up there that can't get transportation, because that presents a challenge a lot of times of getting in, but we could still do that because we want those students to, yeah, I know Bellefonte's K through 8, but man, you can't start too early because, you know, the higher ed, they're starting to look at sophomores being able to do concurrent enrollment. They need to get that ACT to a 19 in the subject area, and then they can be eligible for those classes, so.
And then some of the colleges won't look at anyone under 21, some of them it's 25, so they're really raising the bar. And Brian did offer an office to the ACT teacher for a couple of days a week just for that purpose, so that all of Squaw County. And then we have the Zoom at Locust Grove.
Yeah, that was something I was gonna ask, is when you're planning these Princeton reviews, it would be nice to have one in the south and one in the north instead of all of it in the south.
Well, that's because he stole the teacher down there.
Well, you still got Cherokee is above 412 that were not served. in
That's
that,
right. So I'm looking, I got, Sylvia Soap came to our workshop down here.
She would be excellent.
She came to summer camp last year. So she wanted to practice on just her students, but she's wanting to do that area.
Good.
So, and if you know someone that would like to be trained, I'm looking for, but once they get trained, they're going, oh, I don't know. This is really hard. I don't know if the math's too hard or the English.
The North won the war, and we should get in all the services. What happened?
Okay,
I guess we
Councilwoman,
lost the war.
Councilwoman Shaw.
Yes, I was wondering if we could possibly live stream the Princeton Review to at-large communities, and if not, could it be archived to where they could pull it up?
I don't know. Do you know that?
With Zoom, you can record those sessions, and then you could have a separate site like Blackboard or something like that, and you could put them on there. They could come in and get on there, and they could work at their own pace. They could always go back, hey, I missed that, I'm gonna come back and check that out, so.
Do you have an IT person? Is that who we'd have to contact to do that?
Yeah, and that.
Brian will work on that.
Yeah.
That would be amazing, and what a service, if we could help.
In his spare time.
It's such a benefit for in jurisdiction, but to help the at-large
Yeah.
communities,
Yeah.
I would be so grateful if that could happen and come to fruition, it really would.
At large in rural areas.
Oh, my goodness, it would be
Yeah.
awesome. If you all wouldn't mind helping on that, I'd be so grateful, really, thank you.
Yeah, that would be good to have a
The
webinar.
teacher that he did borrow just had a baby, so now she's out for 8 weeks. So we maybe by next fall
Thank you.
we'll be
I'll
working
hold
on
you guys
that.
to that, thank you.
All right, thank you. Good comments, Councilwoman Shaw. Councilman Dobbins?
Janice, I'm sure you communicate these to parents that call complaining about their young person not receiving the award. As a reader, all identities are blotted out. I don't have any clue.
Right.
Who I'm reading this from, so to other counselors too, that if you get calls, the evaluation process is just totally anonymous. All the identities are blotted out, so.
And they're all read, we have a rubric, they're all read the same way. And so many, you can tell when they call, well, I'm online, I'm trying to fill this out for my child. That's not what we want for the cream of the crop. We want, if those students have a 4.3, they can go online and they can apply. And they're doing a disservice to their children by helping them do that. But you can tell when they call that some of them have done that. But no, we take all and they want to know, who read mine? Who do I call? Well, I'm going to call the chief. And I said, well, I'm going to call my council person. Well, so I'm just warning you, they're going to call, but.
Don't call me.
Councilman Creighton, did you have
Yeah,
a question?
Janice, you've always been accessible, so, a lot of the getting with you on these programs, I'm sure it's up to the organization to kind of get in touch with you, right, on some of these programs. Now, when like Kanan was mentioning, Adair County Junior Achievement, now, is that all the BizTown?
That's 5th grade, BizTown.
When it says,
No, it's 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. And like 2 schools, we go all the way up through 12th grade, as you can see, because we do economics classes.
like right here, we got Delonaghy and Westfield. Now, what did they do?
They did. Where is that?
That would be the Biz Town.
Fifth and sixth.
Fifth and sixth, yes, they went to Biztown. Yep, that's all they wanted to do.
Okay, so now all of these others, like the 7th and 8th, that's a totally different thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Eighth grade would probably be.
And that's where we have to get volunteers. That is really hard. We have to get banks, and it can't be school people. So it's supposed to be, well, Brian got the chamber to do his, because we have to go out and train them
Right.
how to teach.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to be clear. Like I said, you've been good to answer that phone and help me out, but I wanted to be clear when you said I tried to get Sean to.
When you were at that school.
Right, and that was the Biz Town. There's other
Right,
things for
right.
the county, right?
Yeah, but you
Biz
did
Town-
say by the time you got those kids
Yeah.
loaded up, drove to Tulsa.
Right, that's what we talked about, the Biz
Yes,
Town.
that's all we
From
talked-
Greasy
Yeah.
to Tulsa. That wasn't always feasible, but yeah, any of these organizations, I speak highly of you. I'll say, hey, need to get hold of Janice.
Yeah,
But,
we'll help them, but I mean, I want, if you haven't gone to Biztown, for instance, Junior didn't know what that was. And his daughter's in 5th grade, and then after Vian went to Biztown, he commented that she came home and said how much she liked it. But if they haven't been, they don't know.
Now, does Vian, they go to Tulsa? All of it's in Tulsa?
No, just the 5th grade,
Okay.
just Biztown. The rest, we go to the school, we do it,
All right.
or the volunteers.
Hey, you can do kindergarten with JA stuff, and it's just mainly say, you say, I'm gonna go read a finance book to these kindergarten. I mean, it's just, yeah.
The, one,
So that was yeah, that's just what I knew about the 5th grade thing.
Yeah,
So
because that's what you were teaching at the time, and I was just trying to get you to bring your class, just so you could get your foot in the door.
So I'm like Canaan, I'm interested in just, all the schools, the different grades. And, a lot of that falls on me to do that, so.
And
football.
when you had Upward Bound at Stillwell, they had a contract with a person that was already doing the ACT.
Right,
And
that's
so
right.
she said she couldn't allow us to come in and do it. But
Thank you again.
I think
and
it's running
on this,
out.
Scholarship that Brian and I kind of worked on, so we have a particular family, present the check, right? And, or
Well,
Brian or I. and the
We
family.
contacted them. All these people on here have accepted. And so in August, whatever school they're attending, they will receive the school or university will receive a check from Cherokee Nation Foundation. It will have the student's ID on it, and it will be put in their account. So if they also get 2,000 from Cherokee Nation,
As far as
College
presenting it-
Resources.
Presenting it though,
What?
presenting it at their graduation or awards assembly or whatever, is that something that's done that way?
You can talk about it, but you won't actually have the money. It goes to the school. That's what our board policy says.
Like I did certificate or whatever, yeah, and then I talked to Diane. about
Yeah, then we can
that.
get the family.
Yeah.
All right, your report. All right, any other questions? Saying none? All right, make a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Yeah, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.